Test, test. Is this thing on? Hey, there you are. How are you? I'm Miggy, of Art of Miggy and Studio Miguel. If you're here, then you at least have some passing awareness of my work and who I am. I was talking to a friend of mine recently after I wrote some stuff about the importance of artists like giving of everything they have, and how like we want some separation. You made a good point that even though the artist may want some separation, and we may want some separation from the artist at times, when we know people, we tend to be more invested in the work they're doing. So I'm going to give it my best shot to be more here, more present, more self-promotion. That's such a difficult thing for artists to talk about, right? Self-promotion. But anyway, you'll be seeing more of my face, I think, is the point of that. Maybe. I tend to start a lot of things and not follow through. We'll see how this goes. So, why are we here today? Well, very excited that I am starting a new sketchbook. Now, that may not be much to you, but if you'll notice here, this is number 63. So I've been doing these for about 4 decades now, and this is number 63. So I'm pretty happy about that, and I wanted to show you my old one. It's kind of a passing of the guard. Just a little bit of a detail about this one. So this is actually a Fabriano sketchbook. A lot of times I will make my own sketchbooks, source my own paper, bind them, sew them, all that stuff. But I tend to get a little too creative sometimes, and it's nice just to have a book full of really good art papers. So Fabriano is great for that. The size is about right too. Again, I tend to make them a little bigger because I like a larger page, but this one's nice. So we'll come back to this in a second. The real star of the show is number 62. Number 62. Now this one's titled, What is the Job? And When do you want it? Which is a common trope with freelance artists, right? Common trope. So I just thought I'd flip through this today and kind of show you what's in it. I mean, the thing about sketchbooks is people are interested, but they're always afraid to ask, and artists are afraid to show. It's that whole self-promotion thing. So let me tell you about this one. This is started in October 23. It ran through July of 24. So it's about 9 months worth of work. And yeah, this is it right here. So this is one that was handmade, bound, and sourced paper. So there's a lot of like old drawings and magazines and things like that in here. And I always try to put the start date on the front page along with some contact information and the name of the book. My new one has a new feature that this one doesn't, and it's a way to track it down. So anyway, I'll just kind of flip through here and kind of show you the pages. You know, notes, drawings, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, sketchbooks are kind of funny, you know. Every artist keeps them. Some artists I've seen work very hard to make really nice, well-designed pages. Other artists just kind of like pass through them sloppily. I kind of go both ways. Sometimes, you know, I have more finished composition to things, and then other times it's just kind of ad hoc notes, slapstick, this and that everywhere. So you never know what you're going to get. The other thing I like to do is add receipts, things like that, shows and movies we go to see. Again, it's kind of nice to go back and remember those things. I always consider my sketchbooks to be kind of a time machine, opportunity to capture some little slice or event of what's going on, and be able to go back to that anytime. Of course, as you know, I've been trying my hand a lot more at writing. I've been writing for a long time. I just never share it. So that's kind of what the point of my Substack is, artofmiggy.substack.com. Hopefully you're reading that. It's usually pretty easy stuff to read, not too dense, a lot of poetry, some essays, and occasionally just random non sequitur thoughts. So a lot of this stuff is either made up or drawn from photos or drawn from life, or in this case here from other artists. They see something and I think, oh, I really like that. I want to remember it. So I'll make a copy of it in my sketchbook. Like color, which is what's nice about these papers. The Fabrianos have a good paper too, is they take watercolor very well. So I draw with a fountain pen, and I use waterproof ink. Bulletproof ink, Noodler's bulletproof ink, which makes for nice fastness. Is that what you would call it? Ink fastness, by going back over again with watercolor. The ink doesn't run. That's what it boils down to. What I found with this book, I used a lot of I use a lot of clay finished paper, which is very common in the printing world, not that much in the art world. What's nice about clay finished paper is it takes ink really well. It's so nice and smooth to draw on, but does not take watercolor at all. Also takes markers very well. So a little more marker work in this than in most. Oh, this was funny. I wrote this great poem that I loved. For some reason, I named it 98.44 feet per second. I don't know why. It made sense at the time, but since then, I can't figure out what the correlation was. So, old pages and maps. I love making books and including old maps from our travels. I think that we are missing the the touch, I don't know what you would call that, the touch, like real physical things that we touch. Everybody draws on an iPad now, and I agree, like the drawings that come out of iPad are pretty nice. Maps is a lot more convenient than holding a paper map. But there's something about to a thing when you touch it and feel it and the imperfection of it that is just, digital can't compare with that. A book's a good example. I think a map is too, because for me, I know I like to see the context of what it is that I'm looking at, right? So whether I'm looking at something on a map or in a book, it's nice to see the context of the entire event, the entire story, you know. For instance, a lot of times when I'm looking back for something in a sketchbook, which I do frequently, especially since I started publishing on Substack, is I can remember kind of where it is in the book. Whereas with digital files, you know, it's, unless I know a modification date, forget it. It's just a matter of hunting and pecking to find those things. This is a good example here of a clay finished paper. So I went back with a little watercolor. You can see the inks just kind of smear around, even though they're waterproof and color fast. Drawing from a campsite. I like to draw places we stay. Again, that's one of those things that like really helps me connect with the moment. If you just sit and study, whether it's people or places, when you study a face, you study a place, and then you draw it, it really does like burn it into your brain in a way that a photo doesn't, you know, or just talking about it, a memory doesn't too. You'll see I do a lot of collage in here too. These drawings actually were not done in the book. These were old drawings that I had that I bound into it when I made the book. Just kind of fun. I have many great regrets, but you are not among them. Nice quote. I like quotes a lot. I steal them, write them down in my books. This is from a concert we went to in Grapevine, I think, in Texas. Some drawovers on some old CG art of mine. A record is both a prophet and a time machine. I consistently promote the idea that music defines reality, at least our understanding of it. So, in that sense, records do a lot for us, and music do a lot for us. So, portrait work. Most of my portrait work drawings tend to be just kind of quick, cartoony sketches, sort of like this. But from time to time, I'll spend a little more time and try to get an actual likeness. From the beach, Carolina Beach we went to. Great little Irish pub. I'm wearing the t-shirt today, so there you go. Fishermen on the beach. I'd never seen anybody just flat-foot fish off the beach before, but that was popular in Carolina Beach. It's our friend's house in Virginia. We spent a few days driving down the Blue Ridge Parkway, and there was an amazing water wheel mill that they had restored. Just beautiful. Here we are in Memphis, having burgers at Huey's Burgers. We were tired from a long day of driving, but the food was good. We made a new friend, and he doesn't look like Ron from Parks and Rec, but he sounds just like him. Same voice inflection, same tone. It's pretty nice talking to him. It's fun to talk to him. It's a drawing for an upcoming post on Substack about PTSD and Ernest Hemingway's Farewell to Arms. Another page of quotes, right? Whatever happened, all the dreams I had, they just slipped through my hands. Experience is simply the name we give to our mistakes. Some poetry and observations. fewer years ahead. That's a pretty good one. Warhol. I have a great Warhol book that I go through sometimes. So it was him with, I forget who the famous people were back in the 60s hanging out with him, but they were somebody important. Oh, I stopped one day. So we live kind of in this part of town where you have to drive through it. I don't know what you would call it. It's an old beat-up highway, and a lot of old businesses there. And Glass Kitchen was one of these places that I loved when I was a kid. It was very vibrant. It was a drive-in. And we moved back here about 10 years ago. It was kind of run down. And the pandemic finally took it out. So I took a few minutes to draw it because it one day will be gone completely and live only in our memories. More drawings of friends. Oh, yeah. Here's a lot of faces of a meeting we had. Waiting at the movies. This is Willie. This is a 90-year-old guy. Just the greatest smile ever. Just the sweetest guy. Oh, this is the drawing that motivated the title of the next book, The Blue Canoe. A friend asked me, why is there a pelican on there? Well, it turns out that pelicans are symbols of omen. I don't know if that's the right word. Omens of good things to come. They're noted for self-sacrifice. So, sailors need pelicans. I often think of that in albatrosses. So I hadn't painted nudes in a while, but this is an old nude I had done a while back. She got a modesty sticky for the prudes when people look through my book. I don't want them to be shocked by seeing boobies. Let's see. Now we're getting kind of down to the end. What happens at the end of my book? So as I'm working on them, things that I don't really want to lose or know what to do with, I will just stick in the back of the book, write things down. So they tend to be way more collage-y than the rest of the book. And so that's what happened here. It's an old painting I did for my Pop, Your Pop, Our Pop, We're Pop series. You'll see that on Studio Miguel. Oh yeah, here's some portraits. You're going to see these again. I'm posting these in next week after. I got to draw a couple more people for the full set with a little poem I wrote about them all. And we're getting down to the end of it. More peeps. And a few blank pages that I should probably fill before I officially call it done. But I won't. Some song lyrics. Some stickers. A leaf from a hike. Oh, we went to the Whitney a while back. It was a really good show. Recommend. And that's it. That's the last page. So, what is a job and when do you want it? Well, the job was 62 and when do you want it? I wanted it 9 months after I started. So, yeah, that's my sketchbook. I hope you enjoy it. I certainly enjoy working on it. And I like sharing them too. I know my wife says people don't get it all the time. It's kind of weird, some of the stuff. They're afraid because I don't know the context or understand what it is that I've written or what I mean. But it's all harmless. So I'll get started now on book number 63. I currently only have a few pages of it done. But, yeah. So that was it. That's the whole book. I made the book and I draw the first 2 pages. So this has kind of a nice new feature. I put an air tag in this one. I've lost a couple of books and then found them almost by accident. So I don't want to lose these. So we'll see how that goes. It's kind of bulky to include in the book, but I think it'll be nice because I do like my wallet and my keys sometimes misplace my sketchbook. So anyway, I'm Art of Miggy. I hope you like that. If you think this is cool, share it with somebody. Maybe they'll be into it too. And that would be nice. Get an opportunity to kind of grow my audience a little bit and share what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of different things and that don't always make sense. But it is fun to hear what people think, for better or worse. Because, you know the old saying, the opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference.